Welcome to the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast, hosted by 18-year industry veteran DJ Pdogg. DJ Pdogg will share stories and have guests that focus on giving artists the tools needed for a thriving music career and a path to better health. You are now in the mix with DJ Pdogg. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man DJ Pdogg in the mix, and thank you guys so much for joining me for another edition of the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. I'm so glad that you guys are able to join. Listen, I got a great show for you guys today. A lot of great information that I'm going to be giving to you guys. So listen, stick around, stay tuned. Got a great guest, but I want to first say thank you guys to everybody who's watching the show live. That's live streaming right now on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all at DJ Pdogg. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. And I want to send a big shout out to everybody who's tuned into the audio version of the show, okay? Whether that be on Amazon, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever that may be. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show, all right? Listen, man, we are in the midst of March Music Madness, and we are down to the final week. If you've been following the series, like we started out with the New Jack Swing, Dance with the Family. This past weekend, we did All Mixed Up, Top 40 remixes. We did Bring the Funk, and then we did a tribute to the 2010s. And listen, the final week is going to be crazy, all right? I saved the best for last, and here's the lineup for the final week of March Music Madness. We start off with In Case You Missed It, this Friday, March 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and that mix is going to be a Christian hip-hop throwback mix. That's going to be all the Christian hip-hop throwback mixes that you might have forgotten, and Christian throwback mix, or songs, rather, that you may not have heard of. It's all going to be on the In Case You Missed It mix, the Christian hip-hop throwback mix, this Friday, March 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday, we got Justin Timberlake versus Bruno Mars, a tribute show to the legends. That's going down Saturday, March 27th, 9 p.m., and again, that's going to be Eastern Time, and that's Justin Timberlake versus Bruno Mars. And then we finish things off with the March Music Madness 2021. This Sunday, March 28th, we got the 116 tribute mix. I'm talking about Lecrae, Tadashi, Sho Baraka, Trip Lee, KB, Andy Mineo, Derek Minor, all these guys. Yeah, I'm getting excited, bro. I'm getting excited. All these guys that I have personally traveled with, toured with, and DJ'd for. I'm doing a tribute to my bros on this Sunday, March 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And all of these shows, you'll be able to see them live, okay, on Twitch and YouTube at DJ Pdogg. Go there now. Subscribe to those channels, bro, so that once I go live, you won't even forget. And also, listen, go to my Bands in Town. If you're on Bands in Town, look up DJ Pdogg. You can follow me there, and all my shows, live streaming shows, and live events will be listed there, all right? Listen, man, I got a great show for you guys. We're going to get right into it, man. Listen, I got one of my dudes, my man CJ King. He's going to be coming on the show today. He's going to be talking about his relationship with TuneCore and how he got into syncing, how he began getting placements on television shows with his music. Story's crazy, bro. You're going to hear about it. He's also got a entrepreneurship thing that he's got going on where he is a business coach for small businesses and entrepreneurs. All that and much more right here on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Listen, do me a favor, like, subscribe, give a review of the show. All those things help get the show out there a little bit more, a little bit further to people who may not have ever been exposed to it. Every little bit of exposure, listen, every little bit helps, all right? So I'll take anything that I can get, all right? But nonetheless, here's my man, CJ King, right here on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited today because I've got a brother who's going to be hanging out with us here on today's show. And this is not just any regular guy. You know, like me and this guy, we go back, we go back a little bit. We've done some shows together. You know, we've done a lot together back in the day, and now here we are. You know, one of the greatest honors that he has had, and he may not even realize this right now, but he had one of the best DJs to DJ his wedding. Okay, I know the guy who made that happen. But nonetheless, I got my man CJ King. He is an artist, he's an entrepreneur. He's got a brand new book out right now, giving you guys tools for your small businesses, marketing and branding, the whole nine. This guy, listen, I just told him before we came on, I said, bro, you're flying way too high for me now, bro, because he's been featured on, BET, ESPN, CW, HBO, and Fox, bro. Like, this guy he's a big deal, okay? And he's taking time out of his crazy busy schedule to hang out with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. CJ King.
Oh, my goodness.
How you doing, bro?
You wild, bro. I'm good,
Well,
yo,
I gotta tell it like it is, bro. Like, you out there killing it right now, man.
Nah, I'm good, man. I always tell people, you were one of the biggest factors in my music career, really jumping off when you sent out Swerving to different DJs and kind of put me on their radar. So that was once that happened, it was kind of a wrap from there. The ball was in my court, so I'm forever grateful for that.
Indeed. Now here's the crazy story, bro. And I didn't want to tell this story because it just came to my mind, but I'm gonna tell it anyways. So I first heard about you through Humble Tip. So after me and him kind of went our separate ways, I left Virginia, came down here to North Carolina. He was still doing his thing. He kept telling me, like, yo, man, I got this young guy rocking with me named CJ. And at that point in time, bro, I was getting demos from everybody and their mother, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, if I hear about a new artist, like, I really need somebody to put that person in my face, like, blatantly in my face for me to even pay attention. So I remember coming back to VA, and I DJ'd for Humble Tip's birthday party, surprise birthday party we did for him. And you performed, and I think you performed Swerving that night. Yep. And I remember, because I was a DJ, so I remember DJing that record, and you was killing it. And I remember for the first time in my career, it had never happened before, and it has never happened again, okay? Where I walked off the turntables, bro. I go over to my man, J Beats Exclusive. You know J Beats.
Yep.
And I say to him, I say, bro, why ain't y'all telling me CJ was like this?
Man, hey.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like it was a deep crowd or anything like that. It was just an intimate crowd. Yeah, it was
very
a
intimate,
vibe.
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. And now you out here killing it, man. So I just got to catch, because I've been seeing you. You've been getting interviewed by like TuneCore and all that stuff, bro. Kind of give us a brief synopsis of your music business savviness, your tenure in the business, where you started, where you are now, and then we'll get into what I want to talk about tonight.
Yeah. So well, to start off with the music, for about we met at Liberty University, and so I mean, starting off, and I'll make it short. I was doing all the open mics. I kind of became known as the guy who is at open mics, like that rapper at open mics. I mean, every open mic I was there, and then kind of established a reputation on campus as the Christian rapper. I mean, the first day on campus, I was going around passing out blank CDs with my music on it, straight from Atlanta, like out the backpack. Didn't have no friends. Bro. Out the gate, just handing CDs out to everybody. And so, so that happened. And throughout that time, I started, gaining more notoriety. And then eventually Liberty reached out to me and wanted me to be the first hip hop artist on the campus band, which is the band that leads worship for Convocation. Yeah. And so that was huge in itself. So that was an awesome opportunity. I did that for about 2 years, and ended up getting married and moving to Atlanta. So once I got to Atlanta, I saw the CHH scene in a different way. I kind of saw how everybody was moving. And one thing I noticed was how hard you had to work as a this may not even be just CHH, but just as a hip hop artist, to really keep money coming in, like you got to be on the road heavy, right? Year round, like
I know, yeah.
New Year's, Easter, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not really such thing as a family holiday, except maybe Christmas. And so that's when I started exploring other avenues of the music business, such as like publishing and sync. And I started building those relationships with companies like TuneCore, and just really reaching out to them, just kind of introducing myself. Because what people don't realize, companies like TuneCore are actually a lot smaller than they realize. It's not a gigantic monster where you can't reach anybody. So it starts out with just on the introduction, you know, letting them know who you are, being professional. And so making it look like you have a team when it's really just you. And so everybody,
that perception is reality, right?
Exactly. Look, I had a fake assistant. You know, I would sign off the emails as my assistant.
Hey,
so
I got the gimmick.
Hey, look. I think her name was Lauren or something. So build those relationships, and eventually got placements and kept on building with them. And so it kind of became their go-to for a lot of their placements. You know, when they would look for, you know, shows like Power or Empire would look for a song, they would really, you know, come to me. And so a lot of these times I had quick turnarounds, like, you know, sometimes 24-hour turnarounds to send them a song. And so I went into that field, and when I found out the money that can be made without having to tour, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nice.
So you actually had records that was on some of those big shows? Like what are some of the shows you were actually on?
Yeah, Charmed. I'm not sure. That classic show, Charmed. Empire. We had a placement on an HBO show called The OG. The NFL during the Super Bowl, during the playoffs last year. Our song was on a commercial. So, I mean, yeah, it's New York Fashion Week. It was up there. So, yeah, it's been all over. Like, we've built such a strong relationship. And the crazy thing is, it's really just been a rotation of 2 or 3 songs that they're placing.
Nice. So, let me ask you this, when you say stuff, it makes me think of questions, and I got to ask, because I'm sure somebody's watching is like, okay, bro, you got your song on Empire, NFL, playoffs, this, that, and whatever. I got to ask you 2 questions, bro. Number one, what is the process of making something like that happen? Because I've been telling a lot of artists, like, hey, guys, like, that's the road you need to get into now, because the reality of it is people aren't buying records anymore like that. Everything is streaming. So my first question is, one, what is the process, and how easy or how difficult is it? And then I'm going to ask you the second question after you answered that one.
Yeah, so the answer to the first part of that question, what's the process, really is not one set process, if I can say that. Really what it comes down to in any industry, you know, if you really want to be successful and have an impact, is that relationship building. You know, how you talk to people, how you communicate, how you respond in high pressure situations. And so when I reached out, I reached out to them, and it wasn't just TuneCore, it's other companies I built, you know, partnerships with through just reaching out and saying, hey, my name is such and such, you know, this is the style, you know, that I do, but I would love to, you know, first of all, before all of that, make sure you tell them what you love about their company first. People love to get their roses.
Exactly.
Before they try to like give you something. So, you know, I made sure I invested in them first before I asked for something from them. Like I tried the service out. I would purchase the product, whatever it is, and then reach out before I asking for something from them. So that's the process.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just building that relationship, you know, be intentional, you know, don't do anything just to do it. Like, don't reach out, just say, hey, what's up? Hey, make sure y'all, you know, I got music for all type of shows, for whatever song y'all need, I got it. Like, no one's gonna pay attention to that. Like when they say when you try to hit everybody, you end up hitting nobody a lot of times. And so I knew my style. My style was a very melodic, musical element. And so I told them specifically about the value I could add to scenes such as like a dramatic, argument or like a makeup scene. Like I was really intentional about what type of scene this could be placed in. So if they had something come across their plate saying, hey, we have this scene, like for instance, Empire, they were arguing in the club. A scene like that, as soon as it came across their plate, a lot of times they email me and say, hey, you're the first person we thought about when we came across this scene. So you want to give them, plant that seed in their head. But if you just say, yeah, I can, any type of scene y'all need music for, like, I got it. That don't give them anything to go off of.
That's too broad, because when they get it across their plate, it's got to be a quick turnaround. Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this question, bro. And this is without you going in. You don't have to go into any major details, okay? Because you're an artist, all right? I'm sure you've got music that's streaming, and I'm sure you get royalties from music that's being streamed. What's the difference in that check between streaming royalties and getting those placements?
Oh, that mug is different. So I give you an example. Just for your song, so for one of my songs I played on the LG, it played for maybe 16 seconds. The check was like upwards of $6,000 for 16 seconds.
Wow.
16 seconds. So one artist that I kind of look up to in that field is Jacob Banks. He makes real soulful music. Just about every show you can hear his song. On the TV show, on the movie. And so he doesn't tour a lot. He's not a mainstream artist, but I guarantee you he's making more than a lot of your favorite artists just off of
I mean, so put it into this proper perspective, okay? Because you gave me a dollar amount, so I'm going to use that as an example. $6,000, 16 seconds placed on the show. How many streams do you have to get that same $6,000 check?
Lee. I don't even know.
That much, huh?
That much, man. It's to the point where I don't even tell people to stream my music. Cause it don't really do. When I realize the money that is out there, you streaming the music, it does something, but like that's working too hard for my pennies. That's working too hard. I'd rather go the route of, okay, cool, let me focus on this area where I can get, 16 seconds.
Yeah.
It's 6 bands. Who wouldn't focus their attention there instead of me focusing on, hey, stream, make sure y'all, hey, go stream my music. To each his own. Like, of course, once you get 2 million streams, you getting some checks, but
you got to get to that point. Yeah, you got to get to that point. Wow, that's crazy,
you
bro.
Look at my Spotify, my numbers are low compared to streaming, the other artists who are streaming. But I'm pretty sure the revenue difference is there as well. I don't know what other artists are making, but I would assume if we're just going off those two outlets, it's quite a difference.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's funny to me. At the end of every year, you see all the artists posting their numbers, and it's cool if you want to post that to show that there's some growth and there's some sustainability. We're getting somewhere with the music. We're building the fan base. But I mean, when it comes down to dollars and cents, bro, you talking about almost two different worlds.
Two different worlds.
Streaming and placements. Yeah, yeah. Because again, the point of this show is to give artists, just unlock that, like you see that light, right? And so I bring people on like yourself who's there, who's been there, who's done that. They can kind of show, like, guys, one, touring is not a thing right now, so what you gonna do, and then two, streaming just ain't that business either. So what you gonna do, and so I think this is cool. Like, so professionalism. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you got going on, bro. Because I see you got the mentoring program that goes on. You got the entrepreneur that goes on, and you've got a book, okay? The Small Biz Playbook, okay? Let's unpack that book a little bit, because I want people to one, I wanted them to kind of hear who you are and what you're doing in the business, but talk about this other piece about the music, not the music, but the small business playbook. Because one of the things that I always tell artists and musicians, and I may even have told you this at one point in time, don't look at yourself as an artist, look at yourself as a business. Tell me about the book, what's in the playbook, and some of the testimonials that you've gotten based off of people who have used your products.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll touch on that. And then I wanted to say something real quick in regards to the business aspect, even when it comes to streaming. So I want to challenge any artist to look at their focus on streaming in this way. Look at yourself as a business. So let's say you are the product. Let's say you get an offer from a company. They say, look, here's what we're going to do. We'll play your music, and every time we play it, we're gonna give you a penny every time we play it. Now, if they come right out and tell you that, are you gonna hop on that deal? Not me. I don't think anybody would be like, that's a fire deal. I like that. Yeah, they like, hey, yeah, do that and keep promoting us, and we'll give you a penny every time someone plays your stuff. Essentially, that's what streaming is. But if you can kind of monetize that and focus on building, not even building a platform, even looking for platforms that benefit you more, because they're out there. Whether it's black owned or not. I mean, as long as it's a good business decision, focus on creating something of value that makes your fans want to support you, instead of having to, a lot of times we say, well, it's easy. Everybody has Apple Music or Spotify. If you can focus on finding out what you can give your fan base more so than like just getting them to do something for you, they will pay that monetary value to support you. Whether you're giving them something more than just a song, you're giving them, let's say, a free T-shirt with a song or album purchase. I don't know what it is. You have to be creative these days, but think of it from a music sense. Like, you're really selling your, I'm not going to say soul, but you're selling your hard-earned craft for a penny per stream, actually less than that. But and people don't look at it that way, but they push so much traffic to these brands that are eating off of us, and we're not getting nothing essentially in return. So from a business point, that don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Literally, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, it literally doesn't.
But you got the book, bro, the small biz playbook, because you're telling people, look at yourself as a business, and you've written a book, which I think is incredible. Tell us about it, bro.
Yeah, so I wrote the book because one, I started the business last year and saw a great return from it. Upwards of $500,000, and not the only one. The biggest things I noticed, there were a lot of people who made a lot of money in 2020, actually, outside of a 9-to-5. But one of the common things that we saw was there was a lack of knowledge on how to manage that money. And what happens is people make money, and especially in our Black community, we hustlers, like, we know how to make money. We just don't know how to keep it or multiply it. Right? So that's our biggest problem. We can make money all day. Like, put us out in the field by ourselves, we're going to hustle and figure out a way. But we just don't know how to make money without having to work so hard. So I told a peer of mine, young Noah, I said, man, it seems like we have this mindset to where we don't feel like we've really earned our money unless we're sweating and bleeding for it. And it's like, you look at our other peers, they pressing the button and making millions and calling it a nice hard day's work. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was the same way, because I was hustling. Like, if it didn't feel like I worked for it, it just didn't feel right. So I made the book because I wanted people to learn how to set themselves up for success when it comes to their business, how to manage that money so they could continue to keep the money and have the money. Like how many people we know have got a bag and then lost it. I've seen too many do that. And I was almost one of those people until I forced myself to sit down and learn these things, because I hated numbers, I hated finance, but I had to force myself to sit down and say, if I want to be successful, if I want to grow into the $1 million range, 2 million, I have to learn these things. Because the people I'm competing with, they know these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you said you made upwards of, you said about $3 million last year. Is that what you said? 3 mil? Is that what you said?
I would.
No?
I wish.
By the time I bring you
Not
back,
quite.
You'll be at that point, right? That's what it is.
Hey, that's the goal. That's the goal.
What are some of the testimonials you got from people who checked out the Small Biz Playbook? Well, first of all, talk about this real quick. What are some of the things you talk about in the book specifically? Like, give me one or two things you talk about specifically, and share some of those testimonials that you got from the book.
Yeah, so one of the things that a lot of people struggle with when they first start their business is something basic as like separating business funds and personal funds, right? So in the beginning, it's really easy to just shoot. It's business money, it's my money. Swipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, we eating, we going to Red Lobster tonight. But what you find is that when you really start growing and bringing in money, and you bringing in big checks or you reaching big numbers, now you start to struggle when it comes to, man, how much am I really making? When you have to look at the numbers, because you don't know what you spent for the business or what you've made or what's been just personal. Not only that, but a lot of our companies get in trouble when it comes to the IRS because we just been commingling funds and just having a good old time. But then when they come for that tax money, we forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
They gonna check.
They gonna get theirs.
They gonna get theirs. So that's one of the things we cover. Another thing we cover as well are the different ways you can like separate your money, and which makes it easy, right? So you can have a bank account for your salary or your pay. You can have a bank account for your savings. You can have a bank account for your operation expenses, like the cost of your website, the cost of your marketing. And so when you separate it like that, it makes it really easy to see where your money's going and see what's there to spend. And so the biggest reason that a lot of companies fail, 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, because of lack of cash flow. And cash flow is just how much money you have flowing where you can run your business. If you were to stop selling or stop doing anything for 3 months, could your business still survive? Most companies would say no. And so having that cash flow is what keeps you afloat, so you can have that reserve if you need to take a month off. So that's what we try to address, all of that.
That's good, man. That's good. So I think this is a key component. So it's almost like you kind of got like two things that we're talking about here, and I hope that people can hear and listen. The piece about trying to get your music synced up and getting those placements, looking at yourself as a business, and now this tool that you have. So you're kind of saying, so what I feel like you're doing, bro, is, hey guys, let's think through more than just music. And I think that, you correct me if I'm wrong, but the Small Biz Playbook goes beyond music business, correct?
Yeah, it goes beyond music business. But I'll tell you the real motivation behind the reason I wrote the book in the first place, going back to the sync placements, that was my first time getting, not six figure, but, upwards of a 5-figure check for music, right? Or a $6,000 check. And I used to wonder, how do these people get these checks and blow it? Like, how do you blow $10,000? How do you blow $5,000?
It's not that hard, bro.
Before I turned around and I said, yo, where my $5,000 go? Where my 10 bands go? And so I'm looking like, yo, I really just blew that. And I look outside, I don't got a new car. I don't got new shoes. So where did this money go? And so I saw how easy it was to lose that. Even now to my clothing business, there were months I made $30,000, and I look back and I'm like, I don't have a new car outside. Like, where did my money go? and you see that you've made this money, but you have nothing to show for it. And that's the biggest frustration. And so I wanted to figure out a solution that would help people prevent those things. So if I would have implemented the things in my book from the very beginning, we'll be in a whole different place right now.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, CJ, bro, because you're talking about a lot of good things here, bro. And again, I want people to really hear what you're saying. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of artists who watch the show, some up and coming, some vets, you know what I'm saying? And in different walks of life in their career. But let's say you're talking to a brand new artist, okay? And I know the book goes beyond just being an artist, but I want to talk about musicians for a second. What would be the first thing you tell a brand new artist who's like, man, I want to do this music thing, and to them it's like I got to get into the studio, I got to record an album, and I got to try to get signed to a label, okay? Now that you're kind of seasoned in life, okay, you've been there, done that, you got a lot of experience under your belt now. What would you say to a brand new artist that's breaking in, that's trying to make it happen? What would you say to them right now?
So one of the things I would say, I would go back to what we mentioned earlier is operating as a business instead of just as an artist, right? So knowing your craft goes beyond knowing just the type of beats you like rapping on. Knowing your craft goes beyond knowing how to flow on a verse. Knowing your craft includes knowing how much you're making from a show. And not just the check you're getting, but it includes knowing what your profit is, because you have to include gas, travel, cost of equipment, right? So knowing your craft goes beyond just knowing how to rap or sing. So I would encourage an artist to really like focus on the business side, because when you walk into those business meetings with labels, like you need to know your business better than they can tell you about it. Like you walk in, they try to tell you something about your business. Like, yeah, you would be great with this audience. Nah, because I've tested it. Like, that's not true. And when they see that, that garners a certain respect from them. That says, oh, he is a business. He's not just an artist. So they want to treat you like a business. They're going to come to the table with a whole different type of respect for you. So so know your business. Like, be the business. Like, be the best representation you can be for your business. Like, everybody that you hire, no one's going to work harder for your business than you are. Like, you need to be the hardest working person in your company, quote unquote.
Why do I feel like saying stuff that I've heard before? Where have I heard this stuff before? I don't know.
Look, hey, look, you've been trying to put artists onto this type of information for I don't know how long, but it's just one of my mentors. These guys, they make millions, right? And they always give out this free game, and I always ask them, why do you guys just give out this information? This is like life-changing information. And they said because 95% of people are not going to do what you said anyway. And they said up to 5% that do, half of them won't do it consistently. And so you're looking at a good 3% of 100 people who will actually implement what you said consistently. So they're not worried.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, listen, man, tell everybody how they can get your book, okay? Because I want people, like we were talking about it. Let's tell them how to get it, bro. Where do they go to get your book?
Yeah, so just go to thesmallbizplaybook.com. You can get it there. Around the time of this, it'll be, I think for right now, we have it going for $14.99. So I'm going to keep it like that for another 2 days or so. And then it goes back up to $24.99. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff in there, I feel like you can easily spend hours looking for that information, but we just wanted to save you that time, put it all in the book for you.
That's how it's done. Now listen, man, so we talked a lot about I call it the grown-up stuff. That's the grown-up stuff, the business stuff. Before I let you go, bro, you've got to give me a good industry story, something that has happened to you in the business that is like either that's just funny or hilarious, a hard lesson that you've had to learn, okay? Or you can, and then I got one for you. I'm gonna get to this one. I got another one for you, but I'm gonna get you to tell a story. But give me a story, bro. Something that's happened to you in the business. Something.
Okay. So
every artist has got that one story, bro. So
let me see. This was earlier in my career, man. I saw an artist, Cannon, right? I went to one of his shows. You know, I don't know if he had the locks at the time, but the show was crazy. Energy was high. He grabs a water bottle, you know, pours it. I seen people throw it in the crowd. He poured it on him. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Crowd went crazy. I was like, yo.
I can see him doing that. I can so see him doing that.
He like just drinks, you know, like the Sonic commercial, drinks himself. And so I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's wild. Fast forward, maybe a year later, I'm doing a big show with Humble Tip. And a huge show, you know, a lot of expensive equipment on stage. So I go on and I'm hyped, you know, the crowd feeling it. And I say, yo, this finna kill him. I seen this work
that momentum
before.
is carrying you away. The momentum is carrying you away.
I said, they finna go crazy. I grabbed the water bottle, drenched myself right in front of the speaker. Did not go like I pictured in my head. I felt real suspect. And so it didn't last long. After I put the water bottle down, as I'm pouring it, I'm thinking this was probably not the best idea. And so sound guy, the engineer, is hot on the side of the stage. He's like, we got expensive equipment. He could mess up the mic, the speaker. He's hot. And I'm just like, yo, the crowd loved it.
Did you see that crowd though, bro?
Did you see that crowd though? That was it, man. Yeah, that wasn't one of my brightest moments, but I didn't try it again after that.
Good. I've learned in the business, the sound guy can be your best friend or worst enemy. He can make or break your show. Period.
Man,
point blank.
Shoot.
he can make or break your show. Hey man, tell us about the time you got on a record with hip hop legend Missy Elliott.
So that was a very interesting experience. So I got on, and you want to know how it happened or just like what it?
Tell the people how it happened, bro. Tell the people how it happened.
Yeah, so at the time I was building a good relationship with a group called 2103, and so I was doing a lot of music back and forth with them. You know, I'm doing some features for them, and then one feature in particular, they were like, "Hey, we got this huge record. We got Missy Elliott on it, Canton Jones. Who else was on it? J Moss. And the record. I was hyped. Like I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be crazy." So I went, recorded my verse, went stupid as I could on it, and so when we put the song out, I wish it could have done, you know, better than it did, but it was really exciting just to say like, yo, I do have a track with Missy Elliott. So I don't talk about it much, but I even forgot about it till you just brought it up. But the track was cool.
Yeah, cool. I can see you forgot about it because there's a reason I brought that up.
See, I see where you're trying to get to.
I'm just saying, bro. You know, I had PDA here on the show a few weeks ago, bro, and great guy. I mean, you know, and I remember he had reached out to me saying, "Man, I got this record. It's hot. I need somebody on it." And immediately, the only guy I could think of was CJ King, and so. Yeah, man.
I forgot. You know, I forgot you bridged. Did you bridge that connection? I'm trying to remember. I think you did. Did you?
See, that's what I was trying to say, bro. That's all. You see what happens, folks? When people get on HBO and the CW, they forget about DJ Pdogg. Okay, when they get their own book. Okay, when they start getting $6,000 checks for being on Empire, they forget all about the homie. You know what I mean?
I was like, yo, did because to be honest, I can't even remember how that conversation. Yeah, I was really excited about that opportunity, man. That kind of hurt my heart a little bit, but it's cool.
But you know what though, bro? For real, and all jokes aside, in all seriousness, I'm looking at what you're doing now, and I'm like, bro, like, I think what we have to do is we have to measure success a lot differently than what we've done before. Because a lot of times success to an artist is getting on that record with a big name artist. And then nothing happened. It's like, okay, well, now what? You know what I mean? But to me, you know, you've got a wife, you got 2 kids, you're killing the game, you're mentoring people now, you've got a book, you've been featured in all these places, you're understanding the new format of the business. To me, bro, that's more successful than getting on the record with Missy Elliott. No diss to Missy Elliott. That's a legend.
Right.
She's a legend.
Yeah.
You know, but long term, long run, long ways down the road, you're looking down that way, I think you're killing it, bro.
Man, thank you.
Especially if you're able to do it during a pandemic, you know, as an artist and not touring. So that's a testament to your grind and your grit. And so
if people heard the last album, they would have heard all the struggle I went through to get here. That's what they don't know.
But see, I've gotten to see, I don't know everything, you know what I'm saying? But I know the last time we were together in person, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that struggle was there. You know, and even some of the different companies that you've worked with, you know, I'm gonna leave that there.
Yep.
I believe that there. Nonetheless, to see where you are now, though, it's like from a guy who's an outsider looking in, who's seen that journey. It's like, man, like you doing your thing, bro. And that's why I had to bring you on the show, because I want people to know that even if you're an artist and you're out there and you're struggling, keep grinding, get that focus, get locked in, and make it happen. And I think the beauty of what you've done is not only did you make it happen, but you're trying to bring others along on that journey too, bro. So hats off to you, man. Salute to you, man.
Man,
for
thank you,
doing
bro.
what you're doing, bro.
For sure. I'm trying. We gonna keep going, keep on pushing everyone around us. I mean, I think that once I learned that there's money out there that can be made, especially if you make that pivot, I'm trying to help everybody. That's how I got here.
Yeah, that's good, man. Keep that going. But listen, man, how can people follow you on social, man? Give all your plugs and everything. And if you got music that's out there, bro, let us know how we can find you.
Yeah, so CJ King Music. You can find me on social media. You can follow the clothing company at Blessed Ones Co. That's doing really well. And yeah, so as far as music, we got. I hate to be the artist and say, "Yo, we got new music coming," but just follow me on social media and you'll see when the music comes. And go listen to my past music that came out last year. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm doing a show called In Case You Missed It. Okay, a live stream show where I'm going to be playing a lot of the records from Christian hip hop past, and some of your records are on there, bro. So, got to remind people, you know, records that you may have forgotten, records that you didn't even know existed. I want to make sure you remember, you know. And so that's where I'm at with that. But nonetheless, CJ, bro, listen. Thanks for hanging out with me on the show, bro. I wish you nothing but success and much love to your family, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. And we'll see where this thing goes, bro. Man.
Hey, thank you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll definitely be tuning in.
For sure, man. I appreciate that, man. I do. Hey, send people my way, bro, because I'm trying to, I'm trying to help educate. And the people that I bring on, like yourself, I want them to see and hear you guys' stories and be inspired. And hopefully somebody has been inspired by your story tonight. So, yeah, man, keep it moving, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Keep it moving.
My guy.
Yes, sir. Y'all keep it locked right here on DJ Pdogg in the Mix. We got more for you. Keep it locked. So there you guys have it, man. My man CJ King right here on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Listen, I'm going to have all of his information in the show notes below. And so listen, man, I try my best, and I really do mean this, guys. I really do try to bring on guests that I believe will give you information that you need that will advance your career and tell great stories as well. So even if you're not in the music business, okay, you can get some great stories out of this podcast, all right? Listen, man, I'm going to be back next week, same time, same station. Make sure you guys follow me on all social platforms at DJ Pdogg on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all right? Follow me on all those platforms so that you will keep up with your boy. And one of the best ways to keep up with me is by joining my email list. So go to djpdogg.com/free, and you can join my email database, and that will ensure that you keep up with everything that's going on, whether I come up with a new podcast, do a new live stream, whatever that may be. That's the best way to keep up with me, all right? Listen, again, March Music Madness comes to a close this weekend. All the information will be in the show notes for March Music Madness, the final week. You got the lineup earlier, but just in case you missed it, this Friday, in case you missed it, the Christian Hip Hop Throwback mix. Then Saturday, we got Justin Timberlake versus Bruno Mars, a tribute to the legends. And then rounding things off on Sunday, 116 Tribute Show, Music of a Movement, making it happen all this weekend for March Music Madness. And, man, we'll go from there. And I'll be back next week right here with a new podcast episode for you guys. Actually, let me take that back. I won't be back next Monday. We'll be back on Thursday with a special episode of the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. I can't tell you guys who I got coming on yet. Not just yet. But I will make the announcement very soon, all right? It's going to be big. I promise you, it's going to be big. So listen, thank y'all for hanging out with your boy. I'm going to holler at y'all later. One love. Peace. Thank you for checking out DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Please subscribe via YouTube and hit that notification button. Also subscribe via Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Audible.